That is the White House, President Trump, America, Israel. Very happy this morning because the hostages are coming home. Once again, no thanks to Hamas, but thanks to President Trump and all of the White House staff, Secretary Rubio, Witkoff, Jared Kushner involved at the last moment as well. Welcome back, folks, to American Sunrise. All right, as we have been covering and talking about throughout the show, Israel and Hamas have agreed to that first phase of President Trump's peace plan. Hamas is going to release all remaining hostages in exchange for prisoners, about 250 or so prisoners. I put prisoners in air quotes. These are just bad dudes. These are basically terrorists. Israel will also begin withdrawing troops from Gaza to an agreed upon line. President Trump said he believes the hostages will be released on Monday. So we're looking forward to that. The president may also travel to the Middle East. Let's go ahead and bring in Dr. G and Terrence to vamp a little bit here about this. So, as I look, Terrence, the peace plan here is 20 points, right? We talked at the top that 5 of the points have been agreed to, which is the kind of the first phase. But Hamas has not agreed at all to lay down their weapons. They haven't agreed to this idea that they will no longer govern Gaza. They haven't agreed to what also is in the plan, which is that all the tunnels will be destroyed and not be rebuilt. So, I can go on and on. There's a lot of stuff that has to happen before there's true peace in the Middle East, or at least temporary peace in the Middle East. And by the way, I've read my Bible. Peace in the Middle East, I mean, sorry to be a spoiler alert here, but there's going to be some issues going forward in our nation's history, or I say our nation's, in the world's history. Go ahead, T.
Yeah. Thanks for saying that, because I sometimes just feel cynical, like I question everything. And this is one of those things that I question. Phase 1, great. Will we make it to phase 2, 3, or 4? I'm not so confident. The victory here is, or will be, I'll believe it when I see it, the release of all of the hostages, be they the bodies or the actual living hostages. There's an agreement in place for that, as we heard. It's expected to happen by Monday. I'll believe it when I see it, though, Dr. Gina. Until then, I'm just going to be cautiously optimistic and hopeful that that happens. And I will say the good news, Dr. Gina, and then I'll leave it over to you, is that once those hostages are home, I think that's less leverage that Hamas ultimately has, and it gives Israel an opportunity to truly move forward and to put it colloquially, handle its business once and for all, Dr. Gina.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, the only incentive left now will be, military action, obviously. And the problem that arises there is we, as Israel / the U.S. Takes any military action, there will be a massive public outcry again around the world. This isn't, of course, just in the United States or in Israel. And so those are the sort of leverage points, or the tension points on this whole negotiation as it moves beyond the hostage situation. And then you add to that we think there are about 4, you said, David, out of the prisoners, the terrorists that they that have to be released, who are that Hamas wants back, but we don't know. And what we do know, if you watched the videos, which I watched on the you don't ever want to call it an anniversary. I never know what to call it. On the demarcation of the year, this year, on October 7th, if you watch the videos, the amount of civilians there that day who were celebrating, who were picking up guns and shooting Jewish people in their homes, the amount of children who did some of this, you can only imagine, David, that even though there are 4 top Hamas officials who they desperately want back, right, and they might not be released, these people are the worst of the worst of the worst. I mean, these are not innocent people. These people murdered multiple people, these people that are being released. And so when you think about those people being freed and being back on the streets, David, I don't know. And then what did they learn in prison, by the way? What did they learn in captivity from their cohorts, right?
Yeah. So let's be clear how Hamas sees victory here. They're rearming. That's what this is.
That's what I was trying to say. Yes, you put it in a word. Thank you.
This is all this is a I mean, I'm sorry, I don't want to be negative Nancy or negative Nick or whoever I am today. What gender am I? I'm sorry, this is an MSNBC. But look, I mean, bottom line is they were just rearming. And so to be clear, even though Israel is saying, no way, you're not getting your top 4 really bad guys, there's still all these people that are being released have committed major atrocities against Israelis. Okay, so these are the bad guys. And so Hamas is like, great. We're rearming, and so that's wonderful. I believe, Gina and Terrence, and you mentioned the kids here. True peace in the Middle East will never happen until there's generational change. Because the truth of the matter is, remember, there's 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds who saw their daddy, who is a Hamas leader or in Hamas or wants to kill Israelis and river to the sea and all that. They saw daddy die for a wonderful cause, and he's going to be around 72 virgins. This just in, he's not. He's going to hell. But they think that. And so until they step up and say no more, and until Israel steps up generationally and says no more, and the both generations kind of get together, however that looks, and I don't know, I'm not that smart. But however that happens, that's the way peace will begin to take form and seeds will form between generations. I'm not saying it's going to happen, and I'm not saying it's easy, but that's their only chance. Peace deals are great in the interim, but other than that, I don't know about it.
I think the thing that was so shocking to me, I've watched a lot of war movies. I've raised 3 boys and a husband. That was a joke. But
in other words, 4 boys is what you're saying.
They love watching these gory, violent, awful war movies. So if you want to have a movie night with your family, that's what you're doing. So I've seen a lot of things, and I've watched a lot of war documentaries and all the rest. I think what was so shocking and different about the October 7th videos is the glee with which these people commit murder. There is a cultural difference. I've watched footage from Vietnam and other wars, and there's a stoicness, there's even a sadness you can see as our soldiers carried out the duties, and you hear the horror stories of some sort of laughing or celebrating back channel, but you don't see that across the board. On October 7th, I'm telling you, the children, the young men, everyone laughing, I mean, I'm sorry to discuss this on a morning show. I shouldn't even go there. But that's the part that shocked me the most, David Brody, was I realized what a cultural difference there is. And I want to say this, a psychopathy. There was something psychopathological about what I witnessed that day, not just in the people giving the orders, not just in the people committing the atrocities, but in the people watching gleefully, David. That's what's different. And I don't know how you ever fix that. I think we are worlds apart spiritually, worlds apart culturally. And I just don't know that there's a fix for crazy.
You don't. You don't. And because it goes back to the Quran, and it goes back to Muhammad, and it goes back to the barbaric nature of what wants to be accomplished from a radical Islamic terrorism standpoint. It's just that simple. It's in their book. It's in their book. Muhammad, you go back to Muhammad and beyond Muhammad. I mean, just go look throughout world history. It's all about conquering and in a very barbaric way. So don't get me started, but
Zero empathy whatsoever. Something exactly counter to whatever empathy is. Yeah.
Well, this was a light subject. Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, great. How am I going to make a transition to this? But I'm going to try. Coming up, who doesn't love an ice-cold soda on a hot day? But what risks do they pose to your health? We're going to have some astonishing new numbers on all of this just ahead on American Sunrise.